Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock Central Time, which means it's time for the new night, new time for the Get Off My Lawn podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We've got some serious topics. We've got some fun topics. The cool part is we don't even know what topics are going to come up because we're going to do topics from a hat. But we've got a few things that we want to cover real quick before we do. First and foremost, we want to get that scrolling on the screen. So if you are joining us live tonight on YouTube or on Facebook, make sure you're leaving some comments down in the chat. We want to know what you have to say. You will not be able to have your comments tonight in the live stream be picked from the hat. They're pre-printed. They're already folded up and ready to go. So I am not that talented, and I am still flying solo tonight. My producer is not yet up to her strength level to hang out all night in here in the producer's seat. So I can't even have her print stuff and add things to the hat. So you can sure have those topics, but I would just ask one favor. Don't put the topics in the live chat. Email them. And if you notice at the bottom of the screen, for those of you that are watching, we did change the email address since we've rebranded. We've gone from Sandhills Shooter to Sandhills Media. So I did make a new email address. So if you want to send those topics to me, please email them to NE, which is for Nebraska, NE Sandhills Media at gmail.com. You maybe have guessed Sandhills Media was not available. So I improvised and threw the Nebraska part first. So NE Sandhills Media at gmail.com. So send those topics in. We will always take more because eventually I think this would be cool to do one or two every week. And just have some fun maybe at the end of the show. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. A couple things that I want to mention real quick that we try to mention every week. We are very, very proud to be part of the Self-Defense Radio Network. It's a great place where you can go find all kinds of cool Pro 2A and Pro Gun podcasts, and you can get them all in one place and then just click on them. It'll take you straight to their place, whatever podcast server that they use. Mine's Anchor, but you can get all of the cool 2A podcasts. Not all of them. There are some other cool ones I think out there in the world, but the really, really cool ones, anybody who's anybody and me, are on Self-Defense Radio Network. So go to SDRN Sierra Delta Romeo November.us and get to the Self-Defense Radio Network. And I tell you what, if you've got one that you'd like to add, you can actually email me, NE Sandhills Media at Gmail, and I'll get you in touch with the folks that do the vetting, and they'll check your podcast out and see if they want to add you to the network. So send those emails off. Real quick, I want to we're going to skip that one for a second. I also want to just mention that tonight we're going live on multiple places again, thanks to Open Country Firearms in Osmond, Nebraska. You can get a hold of Garrett at 402-841-0970. He is a busy man. This is actually not his first job. This is his side job. He's also a crop insurance adjuster and agent by day. So certain times of the year, maybe he doesn't have enough time to keep the website up, but you can go right now and see a fairly updated inventory list at opencountryfirearms.com. But if you have any questions, anything that you're looking for, you can get directly in touch with Garrett with that phone number, 402-841-0970. So thank you very much, Garrett, for helping bring us live on multiple locations at the same time. Very, very thankful and grateful that we can do that. All right, one last thing that I want to mention, but we're going to hit it kind of twice. So if you want to get some cool Sandhills Shooter and eventually Sandhills Media gear, you can go to blackswantactical.com. You can get the cool legacy swag while it lasts. Sometime late summer, early fall, that's probably gonna end. If there's a big demand for it and you guys start ordering up a storm, we may extend that, just based on sales volume. If you guys are still ordering them, then we may leave them on there longer until everybody's had a chance to get what they want. But it's not just the Sandhills media or Sandhills shooter and eventually media stuff. You can also get stuff to support my beautiful bride, Sandhills sweetheart. We've got the coffee mug with the green ribbon for lymphoma. You can get Her Fight Is My Fight or Not Today Cancer, and you can get cool hats. Also, this is the hat that we're going to be using tonight. Yes, it comes complete with cat hair in my house and dog hair. We're going to be putting the topics right into that hat, drawing them out here in a little bit. So I will be mentioning again where you can find such a cool hat once we start drawing them out. But I keep saying we, and you guys can only see me. So let's bring some people in, say hello to them. We will go around the horn here, just kind of the same way that everybody popped into the room here tonight. So first and foremost, we're going to say hello to 2A author extraordinaire. I'm going to leave out half of the places where you can find this man's writings. So I'm just going to let Tom tell you real quick where you can find him. But Tom Knighton is in the house. How are we doing, sir?
Finer than a frog's hair.
That's pretty fine.
Pretty fine.
So just real quick, where all are you credentialed right now for putting up some articles and other stuff with your writings?
Primarily at bearingarms.com.
Bearingarms.com. Cool.
That's the easiest place. You know, if we go everywhere,
right,
Ben, it's pretty much any site you want to name.
There you go. So so if there's a place where you're reading about 2A stuff, you've probably seen Tom Knighton on the byline at some point. But yeah, Bearing Arms. You can also see a lot of cool stuff from our friend John Petrolino over there, the author of Decoding Firearms. He does a lot of stuff over on Bearing Arms as well. So very, very cool. All right, next up, we've got one of two people coming to us from Nebraska's capital city. We've got Travis P11, everybody's favorite tactical teacher in the house.
Hey, what's going on, man? I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
I want to make sure that people understand tactical teacher does not mean teacher of tactics.
Oh, well, you know, there are some tactics that could be, you know, verb conjugation tactics and some mad, you know, spelling skills and stuff like that. So it's relevant. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And the only thing he can't do is in the classroom. Of course, he can't do it with a holster on or anything like that. Probably no molly gear or plate carriers when you're teaching, but that's only because so far Lincoln's schools are fairly safe places. So hopefully they stay that way.
That's right, man. Should be a good show tonight. I appreciate the invite. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. And very glad that the new night and time works better because I tell you what, man, we missed you not being able to have you all the time on Tuesdays. So very good to have you back. All right. We have got a new face, new voice, new name that we're going to add to the panel tonight. Somebody that you have never seen before on our show anyway. You may be aware of him on some social media. So we'll just take a second to let him tell you where you can find him. And of course, we'll do this at the end of the night too. But we've got Dan from Regular Guy Guns with us tonight. How are we, sir?
Very good. Very good. Thanks again for the invitation. And you can find my blog at regularguyguns.com and on most social media networks, unless I've been banned from them, at Regular Guy Guns and basically Facebook, Instagram, Gab, Getter. I just tried to get on, even though it's not working properly. But hey, it's another channel. And again, just really glad to be here and part of the panel, and can't wait to see what the night brings.
Yeah, can't wait to have you in here and get some extra perspectives, because I always like bringing in fresh viewpoints. And just so you know, I don't know how many of these you've watched that we've done in the past, Dan, but agreeing with the host is never a requisite for being in the panel. In fact, sometimes I think it brings more and not just to be a jerk, not just to play devil's advocate, but if you honestly disagree with the things that I'm saying and we can actually have a conversation for people to hear it, that's kind of what I go for sometimes. So it's never, I shouldn't say that. It's always okay to have a differing opinion. Those are always welcome here.
Healthy debate is good.
Right? As long as we can keep the language PG for the little ears that may or may not be in the room. Because these next two guys have kids that are quite often in the room as we're doing this, just off camera, but within earshot. So we've got two more Nebraskans we're going to bring in. Also coming from the capital city, we've got Defense Dad in the house.
Just hang on. Hello.
What?
What's happening?
How are you?
Oh, I'm not doing too bad. Trying to keep the cat off the camera. Stop chewing on that.
Nice. All right. So that's good. I'm glad you said the cat. That way, if we just hear a random, don't eat that, we know that it's the cat, and nobody else is in your house trying to chew on your computer. So,
Nope, just me tonight.
All right, cool. All right. Well, thanks for being here. And then last but certainly not least, from a bunker in an undisclosed location, we've got the guy who feeds America. Not single-handedly, but he sure does help. So we've got Pat back with us.
Evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well tonight.
And please forgive him. His laptop mic doesn't have the best pickup, especially down in the bunker. But the internet's working. That's what matters. And as long as he speaks, distinctly and slowly and in a normal voice, then I think we're going to be able to hear you just fine. So, all right. So real quick here, I have dumped the topics into the dirty hat. This is well worn. This isn't brand new, guys. My stuff gets used and I sweat in it. So if it looks gross, that's because it is, which is why I don't have any for prizes, because I haven't bought any extras and I'm not giving you this nasty one. But the first topic that I'm going to pull out now, what we're going to do, because we've got 6 of us, so we're going to take turns. And what I'll do is we'll start, we'll maybe just go clockwise, and not with me, but we'll start with Tom. And then we'll pull a topic out and let Tom either comment on it or answer the question. There's some of both. And then unless somebody has something else that they want to add, we will just move to Travis and pull another topic out. If there are things that people actually want to discuss, and again, some healthy discourse and debate on a topic, then that's okay. We'll take the time to do it. I don't know if we'll get through all of these or not. I'm kind of hoping we have a good discussion that we don't, but that's kind of how things are going to go. After this first one, this one is so good that I kind of want to have a discussion about this first and foremost. That way I know for sure that this one got pulled out. So yes, I did cherry pick just the one, but I did cherry pick a question. And so I'm going to read this off, and then I'm going to start off, and I want to get everybody else's opinion. At least, especially if you don't agree with me. And again, I think I've got a fairly unpopular opinion at face value, but I'm also going to explain what the reason why my opinion is what it is here. But the topic is pros and cons of national reciprocity. Now, you guys can all be thinking a little bit. If you haven't yet, I'm sure most of you already have thought long and hard about national reciprocity, and that means concealed carry reciprocity, right? I mean, we've got it with driver's licenses. We don't have it with permits to carry. So my unpopular opinion is I actually am not for national reciprocity of concealed carry permits. But here's why. First and foremost, the reason I'm not is because I think that there should be no concealed carry permits. I think national constitutional carry would be the way to go, which would negate the need for reciprocity. So it's a inherent right endowed by our Creator. And if you don't believe there was a Creator, then endowed by the fact that you were born and you're an American citizen and you have not committed a felony or otherwise become prohibited from possessing a firearm. That's all you need to do is be an American citizen and not be prohibited. And you should be able to carry your firearm. You have not done anything wrong. You haven't lost any rights. Then why can't you freely exercise them? We have the right to exercise all of our other rights until we do something to have them taken away. So why does somebody want to tell us what we can and can't exercise there? So I don't think that reciprocity should be a moot point. Now, A few weeks ago, we talked about fantasy versus reality, and that would be the fantasy. The reality is we don't have constitutional carry in all 50 states, or not a federally mandated constitutional carry. So we do have several states yet that require a permit to carry concealed in that state. And even if your state does have and I'm going to say permitless because it's different than constitutional, but most of the states that have such a thing, it's not constitutional. You just don't need a permit to carry a handgun, but it doesn't apply to anything else. You can't throw a short-barreled shotgun under your coat and have it concealed with that law. And so it just makes it permitless handgun carry. Even if you live in that state, let's say it's Arizona, but you want to go into Texas, then I don't know how Texas's new law is going to read. I shouldn't have said Texas. I should say Nebraska. If you live in Arizona and you want a concealed carry in Nebraska, then I believe your permit would be recognized if you have one. You don't need the permit to carry in Arizona. So if you want to carry in other states, you still need to get your permit. And I think that every state, as much as this is an unpopular opinion, I think that every state has the right to determine what can and can't be done, since the law of the land is that states can create a permitting system for that. Until we can strike down the permitting system, I don't think that the federal government should step in and boss around that. I believe it's a states' rights issue. So, having said all that, I don't think I need to go around the horn at this point. Anybody that wants to hop in, and we'll just take turns and not walk on each other. I know that not everybody's going to see it the way I see it.
Yeah, I don't.
It's okay.
I get what you're saying. I mean, I do. But on the same token, the Constitution says, licenses that are issued in one state are recognized in another state. For example, a marriage license in California is recognized in Texas. A driver's license in New Jersey is recognized in Alabama. All these things we recognize, and yet a concealed carry permit isn't. It's just another example of it being as a Second Amendment being treated like a second-class right. And so some legislation that would address that is good. Where we got to be careful is when lawmakers decide, okay, we're going to put this national reciprocity bill in, and now we're going to tell states how they have to do concealed carry.
Yeah.
They're going to federally mandate 40 hours of training that none of us are going to be able to do because we have jobs.
And some sort of insurance policy and
it doesn't exist. The insurance policies don't exist. All this other stuff, and that's something you've got to be cognizant of as a possibility. But the fact that not every state recognizes a concealed carry permit, when it'll recognize my driver's license, my marriage license, and a lot of things like that, I got a problem.
Okay, but how do you reconcile that with the fact that if it's a trade license, let's say you're a licensed cosmetologist or a member of the bar, you have to be a member of. Too. Well, I agree. I mean, but those are those laws also stand, and so there isn't a blanket reciprocity on licensing. So I mean, that is where that gets kind of muddy, and that's why I come down on the side that I come down on, where we need on this issue, there needs to not be licenses, but other things that aren't enumerated in the Constitution as rights, like a cosmetology license or something like that, or a driver's license. I mean, sure, it's the government's place there to step in and say what should and shouldn't be done. But yeah, I mean, I just food for thought. I mean, there are a lot of professions that you can only practice in a certain state unless you're licensed in other states. So,
and for the record, my position on occupational licensing laws is the exact same as my position on concealed carry permits. There should be reciprocal.
Mine too.
I'm consistent on it.
And I agree with you. I totally do.
Yeah, because really most of the occupational licensing is not that different. The requirements aren't that different from state to state, except for a handful of places. Like, for example, in New Orleans, you have to have a special license to be a tour guide.
Right.
It's like, the hell, but, it's, I think occupational license should also be, recognized across state lines for the same reason.
Nope, I totally agree. Does anybody else want to chime in? Guns and Barbecue, I didn't see that he had emailed me. I'm going to get him a link real quick. So if anybody wants to chime in while I'm grabbing a link for Guns and Barbecue, we'll get him in here. Don't all talk at once, guys.
Okay, well, I'll throw in my 2 cents real quick here. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it should be recognized just like anything else. I mean, if the driver's license is good through any state and everything, I think that it shouldn't matter. It should just be constitutional, and everybody should be allowed to carry however they want to carry. And that's just my 2 cents on it. I mean, just
Nope.
end of sentence, period.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that the way that it should be would be, yeah, you don't need a license to do some of this stuff. I mean, I don't know. There are certain things that I think that should be kind of vetted, though, and I don't know if a license, but there needs to be something maybe for practicing medicine. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe we could get away with needing a license to practice medicine, but also it's buyer beware. I mean, it's on you. If you go to somebody who is working out of the back of their house or their garage and it's not clean, you can't turn around and sue them for malpractice. I mean, you need to go to the reputable people, and capitalistic economy will drive that the good ones will make the money and get the business, right? So I don't know. With that, we could have a whole night's discussion on maybe that topic, but we're going to move along. So if anybody else doesn't want to chime in, we'll open up the drawing here. Now
John, I just want to say real quick that I do, with what you and Tom said initially, first my immediate thought was it was one of those typical John questions where it's like, well, of course I want national reciprocity. It's like, wait a minute, we shouldn't even have to worry about that. It should be a God-given right. It should just happen, So what you guys say, yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that one. It's hard to argue against it. Yeah.
All right, so I did get that link sent off. Guns and Barbecue, check your email. I don't see him in the green room yet, so we're going to move along here and keep things rolling. So we'll draw our first topic out. So this one will go to Tom, and unless anybody seriously has something that they want to weigh in, I mean, if everybody just kind of nodding their head in agreement with what Tom says on this, then we won't need to go around the horn. Oh, there he is. We've got Guns and Barbecue in the house. How are you?
Doing all right. Sorry about the mix-up. I missed the NE on your email, so I actually sent my email to Sandhills Media. They should be pretty confused when they get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there's somewhere in North Carolina, there's some Sandhills, a region that's called that too. And I know that a lot of businesses in North Carolina are called Sandhills, this or that. So you probably sent an email to Carolina, or somebody else in Central Nebraska that does media stuff. I don't even know who's got it. So, have you been listening? Do you have anything that you want to weigh in on the national reciprocity?
No, I don't think so. Pretty much everything that was already said, I just end up echoing.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Then we will keep moving here. So, all right, here we go. And we're not going to cherry pick these anymore. So they are just coming as they come. This is one that I think everybody probably has an opinion. But here's the thing. When I ask you the question on this one, I don't just want a simple answer. I want to know why. So this is a which is better. I've got several which is betters that got commented or sent to me here. So this one is which is better, semi-auto or revolver?
Ooh. Yes.
That would be my answer too.
Honestly, it's one of those. The problem I have with which is better is In what situation?
Right.
If you're someone who has maybe a lack of hand strength and trying to rack a slide is going to be a problem for you, get a wheel gun. That's going to be a great option for you. If you're somebody who's just more comfortable with revolvers, get a revolver. If you're, someone like me who's just, has absolutely been in love with semi-automatics since the first time he shot one, get a semi-automatic. And really what it boils down to is get both. We live in a free country. Get some of each. Unless
you don't live in a free part of the country, in which case get what you can get. But I don't think any of the states have a ban on revolvers, do they? Does even California have any revolver restrictions other than maybe caliber? I don't know.
If it's just on the registry, I don't think you can buy it, right?
That's true. They have their roster, but
I'm pretty sure
I don't know how vague.
Revolvers on there.
If anybody is in California watching right now, Facebook or YouTube, throw a comment out there. I'd like to know if you're catching this live. You can throw the comment in even if you're not catching it live. I'd really like to know what revolvers are on the roster, or how does that work in California.
As far as I know, it's like their semi-autos. They have a specific list of what you can buy.
Specific models.
Yep.
But it's going to be stuff like GP100.
Yeah. Are any of them double action, or do you have to have the only revolvers are single action black powders? Maybe, I don't know. It's California.
What I'd be really interested in is if it is so specific that say it's GP100 on there, but it's only a GP100 with a 4-inch barrel, and maybe Ruger didn't pay to have the 6-inch on there.
Yeah,
I don't think that. I guess I don't know. I've never seen the list, but I would be hard. I don't know. I was about to say I'd be hard pressed to think that they'd limit the barrel length, but
it's California.
It's California, so yeah.
Every little variation in California of a firearm actually means it's a new gun. So if it's a GP100 with black grips, that would mean it's a brand new gun and has to go through the process again.
Speaking of which, Dan and Guns and Barbecue, where are you reporting from?
I'm down here in Miami, Florida.
Okay. Guns and Barbecue, where are you?
Pennsylvania, just south of Erie.
And Tom, you're in Georgia, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. See, I do pay attention every now and then.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So, moving right along. At the rate we're going, this may not be too long of a show because we're going to burn through these. I've only got about, I didn't count, 8 or 9 topics. And a lot of these are just which is better. Here's another one. Travis, this one's for you. Double action or striker fire? So this must pertain to autos.
I have always preferred striker fire because of a more consistent trigger pull from start to finish. Not that you can't get used to or learn. I'm thinking like Beretta, where you've got the short, single action pull, then it goes to, double action to single action. I know it's kind of a confusing question because it kind of depends on the gun and there's so many weird combinations, but I would say striker fire because of a consistent trigger pull from the first shot to the last once you charge the weapon.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Nope.
Shorter, crisper pull, I suppose, instead of a longer pull on a double action semi-auto.
Yeah. No, makes total sense. I would pick that for a different reason, but that's just because my experience is nil with DASA autos or SA autos. To be honest, I've only ever really shot striker fired. So, okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say that I learned on a DASA gun, but immediately, probably within a year, graduated, as it were, to a striker-fired pistol. And just in terms of basic utility, I've always found striker-fired pistols to be more, convenient, easier to learn, and also especially when you're doing a lot of what I do, which is introduce new shooters to how things are. A striker-fired pistol is a lot easier to explain, how things work to them.
Sure. Makes good sense. Makes very good sense. All right. So we're going to kind of go in a zigzag pattern since clockwise doesn't quite work anymore. So we're just going to move over here to Defense Dad. This question is going to require maybe a little bit of thought. And of course, nobody has seen these but me, so nobody knows what the questions are going to be. So we're going to put you on the spot, Defense Dad.
Man, I've been at work all day for 9 hours by myself. You're going to make me think.
You're going to have to think, yes. Are single stacks going the way of revolvers?
It looks to be, yes. As far as new manufacturer, but I don't think there's a whole lot of people out there that would have their single stacks that they love, myself included, that is going to get rid of them. I have all the firearms I carry on a daily basis. My 938 is my favorite. But I think going forward, I don't think the manufacturers, at least the way the trend's working now, are going to be too focused on single stacks because they found how to wade such a good way to do double stacks in a small form factor.
Yeah. I would honestly say that, yeah, single stacks are going the way of revolvers. They're quite popular for the people that love them, and always will be. Just like revolvers.
I think the technology they're using to make double stacks thinner, they're going to figure out, hey, we can make them even smaller and lighter with single stacks. So I don't think it's ever going to really go quite as far as revolvers. That's just my opinion.
I just think they're going to slowly get less and less popular.
You'll see a
What about
market
like
for
a
them.
1911 though? Like a 1911?
Yeah, but so many people love the 2011 now, too, especially younger, newer buyers. I mean, think about it.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see in another 50 years, if I'm still alive, what the 1911 has done. So
I know myself, other than I love my 1911, when I go look at new guns, I don't really give a whole lot of attention to single stacks other than a 1911 or, again, my SIG, which is a baby 1911.
Good point. All right.
I see a market for single stacks probably only in the restricted states. But with double stacks becoming smaller and lighter and more concealable for people who do concealed carry, they're going to go with the whole more is better philosophy.
Up to a point. I mean, I don't know. I'm still in the market for something that is super tiny that I can throw in, like if I'm wearing some cargo shorts or something, not the cargo pocket, just my front pocket that isn't as big as my Shield 9. Now that Federal's got that new punch ammo out for 22, I'm really intrigued by the concept of the LCP2 in 22 with that Federal punch. I'd like to do a little testing on it and see if that would actually be worth having. Although, I mean, what's the first rule in a gunfight, right? Have one. So if anybody points one at me, I'm not going to take time to throw a caliper on the bore and see how big it is. And
when you're looking down the barrel at one, a 22 looks like a 50 AE.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've never had that experience, but I'm sure it does. So yeah, I don't intend. And anybody that thinks a 22 won't hurt anybody, feel free to stand in front of one and see for yourself. I will not.
When I was a kid, my dad's a retired city police officer, and when I was a kid, one of his fellow officers was killed in the line of duty with a 22.
Well, as far as accidental deaths, aren't 22s right up there, either the number one or they're in the top 4 calibers with accidental firearm deaths? I think they are. Because I think that
think about kids playing with dad's 22 or the 22 out of the field or something.
As sad as it is to say, I think that some people do get a little more negligent because it's a 22 and they don't give it the reverence that it deserves. Yeah, it's just
in
22,
their mind,
right?
it's just a 22.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt
a real gun. It's not like it's a real gun.
Right. It's not like it's a man stopper. So
you get shot with a 22. A week later, you realize you get shot and you get mad at yourself. That's what a lot of people think.
It's sad, and of course Tom said that tongue in cheek, but I do feel the need to point out that Tom said that tongue in cheek.
That is tongue in cheek. That is sarcasm.
that
is sarcasm.
New.
Yeah.
So
there are people who think that though, and
another reason for it being one of the one of the most responsible for the accidents like that is just the proliferation of the round. I mean, what's everybody's first gun normally? A 22.
Yeah, that's true. There probably are more of those. I mean, they're probably more dispersed throughout the country than any other caliber, except for maybe a 12 gauge. Well, that would make sense. All right. Well, let's move on. Pat, you're up. Here's a good one. Another which is better. 9mm or 45 ACP?
Oh man, you just had to stick me with that one, didn't you?
Wait, is G-Webs out there?
I know. Yeah, right. All you 40 guys are about to get stirred up out there in the comments.
Well, I'll put it this way. I have never fired a 45 ACP, but I do have 9mm in a couple of handguns and a carbine. And everything that between coyotes and let's say rodents and different various things, I have not had a problem with stopping them and putting them down. So anybody that says that 9mm is too anemic to do anything, go stand out in front of it just like a 22. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, if
I'm not going to volunteer to stand in front of it. So if I had to say, just because I've had the most time with it, I would have to say 9mm. But at the same time, I have never fired 45 ACP either. So.
We have to fix that.
I will leave. Yeah, I would love to try one sometime, but my 9mm has done everything that I have needed to do with it so far. So, especially with the right ammo, with the right applications. So,
Come to Lincoln, man. We'll hook you up.
You know, and here's something. I'm going to get off subject just for a second because I kind of forgot early in the night. I was in a hurry to get this going. I forgot to mention, for those of you that are in the Omaha area or are close enough to get to Omaha on Sunday, Diversity Shoot is happening. As in, Diversity Shoot, second is for everyone, Tony Simon. Tony's coming to Nebraska. And we're having a Diversity Shoot on Sunday, the 25th of July, 10 to 6, but there's a few different time slots for actually getting in the range and pulling triggers. But we're going to have all kinds of stuff there. A few things that we're kind of waiting to get confirmation on. I've been saying food, folks, fun, and firearms. The food truck, I found out, hasn't given a final commitment, but we're trying to get a food truck there for everybody, so that you can just have some food right there on site. But there's going to be folks, there's going to be fun, there's going to be firearms, and there's going to be some stuff that you don't even have to pay money to do. If you want to go in and do the shooting part, then it's only $20. Okay, to get in and do that part, but there's some free stuff. But having said all that, I said all that to say this. I'm going to be there, of course. Several of the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association board members will be. And if anybody wants to bring their 45, because I've got very, very limited experience, I'd love to get on a 1911 in America's caliber and send a few rounds downrange. So if anybody wants to indulge me, feel free. Come on out. One of the things that hasn't been confirmed, we're trying to get a final yes from the guy, but one of our volunteers is a very, very well-known in Lincoln gun lawyer, does a lot of stuff, work for gun laws. He actually works in the Capitol, but also has his own private practice, but does a lot of gun stuff. And we're trying to get him in there so we can have 2 different hour-long sessions where not an actual formal presentation from him, more of just a kind of a town hall Q&A. If anybody wants to just talk to a 2A lawyer and just bounce some questions off of him, that'll be the time to do it. So all kinds of fun stuff that you don't even have to you don't have to be curious about guns. You maybe have been a lifelong shooter, but you still want to come check it out and support the community and be a lot of fun. Come check it out and bring your 45 if you want for me. Okay. This one, I'm going to qualify this question. If you don't have the experience, because I don't, then I'll draw another one and we'll throw this one back in for somebody else. But Guns and Barbecue, you're up. Which is better, Bush or Bud? I believe they are talking about malted hops and barley.
Oh man, you get the
I'm
choice
glad you brought that
of expensive urine or cheap urine.
The
My
correct
goodness.
answer is Guinness.
Oh, I don't know about that one. I can't do those dark beers either. I was gonna say Yingling, but I'm a PA guy, so. Ooh.
Yingling's so good.
My Irish roots command me to say Guinness.
Man, I'd have to flip a coin, honestly. I'm gonna have to say Bush.
There you go. If you were at a party and there was two coolers, one had Bush, one had Bud, there were no other drinks, that'd be the one you'd pick.
And
So-
honestly, I'd tell somebody surprise me, whatever you bring back. At that point, like I
Okay.
said, you get a choice between urine or urine.
Nice.
You
All
know, being
right.
a Nebraskan, man, you know, Bush is kind of like the
Yeah, you gotta go-
softball
You
player
gotta go
beer.
Coors Light.
Yeah, and then Bud Light's like what you have when you're
Coors
feeling
Light, man. Go
sophisticated,
for the good
and
stuff.
Bud Heavy's when you're just having a bad day. That's when you're
No,
working out in your garage.
sophisticated is so grill and sophisticated is
Hey.
Lining Kugel's summer.
Yeah, Lennon Kugels is pretty good. Yeah.
Okay, well, I got to throw my 2 cents in on this one. Okay, I am a loyal Budweiser drinker because Busch Light gives me a headache.
The only those rich farmers drink the Budweiser products. All the poors drink the Busch Light. So.
Anytime we
The Busch
bring up
Latte.
beer in the conversation, there's always one of these guys. So Gizzard Gary's out there
He's a
liking
Michelob
that
guy.
nasty light or
Right.
Milwaukee's best beast. Excuse me.
Hey,
No, so
I'm not
Natty
eating
Light,
that.
I tell you, it'll sneak up on you. It's actually of a cheap beer. It's a lot of taste tests. It gets voted the favorite one, blind taste tests.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
when I,
technical
when I
difficulties.
was in the Navy,
that's okay.
when I was in the Navy, the enlisted club at Portsmouth Naval Hospital would do dollar pitchers of Natty Light for their happy hour, which ran from like 4 to 8. By 8 o'clock, I didn't care anymore.
But still,
So,
a dollar pitcher of Natty Light, they're still making money on that dollar pitcher.
Yeah, it was, and it's like they'd get the pitcher and like, how many mugs you want? I'm like, this is a mug.
Yeah.
You're better off going Morgan and Coke, but I'm just saying.
So my pick of the two would be that one. Just me. I don't like beer. Beer doesn't like me, and I don't like it, and that's okay. I'm not a teetotaler. I'm just usually the driver. So, all right. So we got out of order, but we're actually starting over. So that was a perfect time for Dan to have technical difficulties. So I've got 3 left. We're not going to get all the way back around, but here we go. We're going to go back to Tom. And notice I skipped me. I'm the host. I can do that. Oh, hey. We kind of covered this one. You know what? Since we covered that other one in depth, this is just going to be a repeat. It was the need for licenses in our country to do just about anything anymore. Let me answer for Tom. There shouldn't be a need. Okay, there we go. Next question. This one's for Tom.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'm not smart enough to unfold this. Ooh, this is a good one. This is kind of an involved one, so I'm going to break this up so we can actually get more people in on this. So what about home defense from the rest of the family? What are their roles specifically? So you've got, I mean, I know this you'd have to tailor this to individual family, but let's just say that it's your typical household, mom, dad, and younglings. So what would you say would be the roles for home defense? Let's just say that there's somebody trying to bust in the door.
All right. I'm grabbing a gun because that's just my reaction. My wife grabs a phone. First and foremost, my oldest, who just turned 20, is grabbing a shotgun for backup. And my 9-year-old daughter's job is to get under the bed.
Yeah.
That's the roles we've worked out. She's too young to really do anything productive. Under the bed is going to put her as far out of the line of fire as possible in case of overpenetration. anything like that. There's also going to be a mattress and box springs between her and anything like that. So that's going to be the primary focus. Obviously, one of the first things you want to do is call the police if you got something like that. Ideally, the blue lights scare them off before I ever have to squeeze a trigger.
Right.
But if I have to squeeze the trigger, so be it. If they get past me, because last time I checked, I wasn't bulletproof. I haven't done in-depth testing on this, and I'm leery to for obvious reasons. But it's if something happens to me, I want them being cocky as hell, going, I already got the SOB. Walk in there and get a face full of buckshot.
Yeah,
because they got me. They didn't expect the 20-year-old with a shotgun.
Right.
That's the roles we've worked out. But yeah, it's one of those. You've got to consider everybody in the house, what their skill set is. If my wife was more comfortable with the idea of violence, she'd probably be back up. She'd probably have a gun in one hand and a phone in the other. She's a little skittish on that, even though she's a good shot. First time I took her to the range, every shot went here except for one flyer, which went right here. I don't mess with her. I'm like, she's like, that didn't go where I meant to. I'm like, no, that's better. Good job. Yeah. If she were more comfortable,
if you're gonna miss, that's a great miss.
Right. I'm like, that's the perfect flyer. That if you have a flyer in a real life fight, that's the one you want. But if I thought she were more comfortable with the idea of something like that, obviously she'd have a gun in her hand. We're getting her a gun that, she's already decided she likes a Glock 19. She wants to steal mine.
Good choice.
Yeah. I'm partial to it too. And, so we'll get her one and she'll have a gun in one hand and a phone in the other, but calling the police is paramount. I've also walked her through how to use a blowout, the blowout kit I have in case I do get shot. I was the Navy corpsman. I know how to treat these things, but I may not be able to.
Right.
I've walked her through it, and we're going to keep walking through it every so often until we don't need to walk through it anymore. But that's something everyone has to keep in mind. In a few years, I'm going to be putting my daughter through that. So she'll know how to do that if something happens.
There's a lot to be said about first aid training. Not only bullet punctures, but I mean there are 1,000 different things that can puncture the skin and put holes in somebody. I just recently completed the course for NRA RSO, and I mean I understand why it's strongly recommended to get first aid training and some basic trauma training on that to know what to do, in case it does not only hit the fan but also hit an artery. So I can see the merit there, and I keep questioning to myself. I mean, I want to get training. I want to take a lot of training once time and finances allow, and eventually become an instructor myself. But I think the first thing that I really should do would be basic first aid, because I'm more likely to need first aid training than I am any kind of defensive training in my life. Just the way that my life is, I'm way more likely to need to know how to put a tourniquet on or splint something than I am how to figure out how to egress out of a restaurant because somebody came in the front door with a shotgun.
Yeah. As a
Stop the bleed.
Somebody who was trained as a Navy corpsman, but in my private life, I've had to draw down on someone one time, but I've had to respond to injuries of different types 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I'm on the high end of needing to actually look down the barrel, look at someone on the other side of the sights.
Right.
Most people never do that, but you're going to see car accidents. People are going to cut themselves. Your neighbor trying to cut down a tree and gashes himself with a chainsaw. Trauma is trauma.
Yep.
If you know how to treat a gunshot wound, you know how to treat the chainsaw injury. Everybody needs to get that. Everybody.
Nope, I would agree. Those of you that have other people in the house with you and have families, whether it's large or small families, excuse me. Do you have anything else that you want to add in there as far as the family's roles in a defensive situation?
Well, for myself, I'm a single father with 3 children. I live in a trailer. Lived in a trailer quite a while now, and before when we, the mother and I were still together, her role would have been, I've got to go back, get to the kids because it's a trailer. You got bedroom at one end, bedroom at the other. So whoever is entering is going to be between you and the kids. So I know a lot of people would say sit tight and wait for them to come to you. It's not a good option with the setup of my living conditions. So it would be me grabbing a firearm. Here's the phone. Here's a firearm for you. And be going back to get the children. If I can hopefully make it back before entry was made or something like that, that would be ideal. But you have to just play it out by ear at that point. But now I'm a single father. Like I said, the kids are with me 6 days a week. And it made me have to rethink some things because, again, bedrooms are at opposite ends. So if that situation does arise, I've got to still get back there. So I'm grabbing a firearm, but I'm also grabbing a second firearm. And I've got a spot set up in my children's room where they can be protected away, where if somebody just walked into that room, they would not know that they were there unless they really started looking. And I would leave my oldest, which she's only 10 right now, but I would leave her AR and say, hey, if anybody comes in here and it's not daddy, you take care of it. And the 8-year-old would have the phone and be calling 911 while I'm going back. And I've got a couple natural choke points to do because, again, it's a trailer that I would plan on setting up at. But again, she would have that instruction. Hey, if anybody else comes in here and it's not me, you're going to have to take care of some stuff.
Right. All right. And I did see Dan and Defense Dad both had, you both had thrown your hands up. I can't believe Guns and Barbecue just talked and didn't see you put your hands up. That was rude.
It's okay.
In fairness, for those of you that aren't aware, Guns and Barbecue has a hard time seeing things. So, no, just having fun because that's how I am. I'm kind of a jerk. So
I do the same thing.
So Dan, I think I saw your hand first. So we will go to you and then Defense Dad real quick.
Okay. Well, basically, home defense, in my opinion, you have to evaluate the skill set and the skill levels of the people in the home and then assign roles accordingly. Now, here it would be me, since I have the most firearms experience. My wife would be calling for the cavalry to show up, aka the police. And then when we have her son here with us, my stepson, who is pretty much, in my mind, my son, and basically he's got some firearms experience, but not enough to deal with an emergent threat. So he's been instructed to lock the door, take cover, and not let anyone in unless it's either myself or his mother. And basically just, wait till the threat and any sort of noise is over, or we give the all clear, and then he can emerge from his hiding place. So realistically, what I tend to do is think about, okay, where is everybody at in terms of skill level? Because if you're having somebody who's not comfortable with a gun having to manipulate a firearm under duress, they can become more of a problem to themselves than anything.
Very, very true. All right, Defense Dad, what were you going to add there?
Well, my situation might be a little different since I'm a single father, but I also have shared custody. So for my situation, half the week is I'm grabbing whatever rifle that I choose to have by the bed for a defensive gun. But the times I have my daughter, I'm going to have a handgun so I can direct her, but she also knows there's 2 spots. If she can't get out of her room into the best spot, then she knows where to go in there. But ideally, there's the safest spot. She knows where to go. She has her phone with her. If we have time, we both keep ear pro by the door because there's a certain command she knows if I yell, Dad's going to be shooting. So we've kind of run drills like that. But yeah, I have a different kind of lifestyle half the week when I have her compared to when I don't have her.
Makes a huge
Something
difference.
Something else we do here is we've got code words that if I'm re-entering an area, and
Good
there's
idea.
two possible words. One is this is all clear, and one is I'm telling you it's all clear under duress. That way, my son knows, okay, Dad's not coming in alone,
Right.
and can adjust accordingly. He can at the very least they're not caught unaware if I come in like this with a gun to the back of my head.
Right. Nope. Very, very good idea. All right. And then the other part of the question. So we're gonna move over to, I think Travis is up. And we're gonna, I don't know. This is kind of, I'm not sure how to answer the disaster scenario part, but also on the road or outside the home. So Travis, I guess in your mind, just it's not a self-defense or a home defense situation. It's a disaster instead. Does anything change as far as the family roles? And then we'll throw the away from home. So you're not in the house. What changes in your mind anyway for the roles of the rest of the family? Or not?
John, I don't have any kids, so I don't really know what I would do, to be honest with you. I would say make sure that the spouse and the kids have an alternate location they could go to. So, say we're living in Lincoln and I'm out of the house. If something happens to the house, they need to have a friend's house or family member's house they could go to, or have a family member on standby that could come get them at a predetermined point. So that's what I would have to say. I mean, that's really all I could say.
Nope, good enough. All right. That leaves us one topic, and then it's about time to wrap up anyway. So perfect amount of topics, everybody, tonight. Thank you. I did see that some of you were throwing some topics out there in the chat. I did early on say this, and then I didn't reiterate it. So those of you that are throwing topics out in the chat, I don't have a way to print them tonight and get them into the hat. And I don't want to, I want it to be actually random, truly random as we draw them. So I may lose those. I may not get a chance to get them copied and pasted over anywhere from the live chat tonight. So please drop me an email, nesandhillsmedia@gmail.com, new email address. So put that back up on the screen real quick here before we do this last question. So it'll be going across the bottom of the screen, NE like November Echo, nesandhillsmedia@gmail.com. So I started that up to go along with the new brand. So, all right, send those comments over to me there so that I can get them added in for the next time. And pull that back off. Okay, last question. And then it will, because we've kind of played musical. We kind of look like the Brady Bunch. We've played musical Brady's tonight, is what we've done. So, Guns and Barbecue, you're in the middle, so I guess you're Alice.
The good Brady's.
That's cool. I'm the cleaner.
Okay, so coming back around the horn like we did, it goes to Defense Dad then. So, last question. One last, which is better? 5.56 or 3.08?
Someone trying to start a war.
Yeah, right?
Not first 45, 5.56 versus 3.08.
The diversity shit's all about bringing people together, but this chat tonight's all about creating division. So,
I think you got two different uses for that. It depends how far you engaging with something. If you're talking sport shooting for fun, I'm going 5.56 because it's cheaper. That's my answer. Final answer.
Final answer. 5.56.
Plus, I don't know 308.
Well, for you, it's definitely better then. So, we got people all of a sudden just we've got panelists out there in the chat that want to drop in some answers now. So,
yeah, I gotta agree with the 308s out there.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Pretty hard to beat the 30 caliber.
DJ Play Nice doesn't like 308. He likes the more anemic round, so he says 7.62 by 51. So apparently
Some
he's got
people just
a
wanna be
Milford
contrary.
rifle that he can't put 308 into.
You say that if you like the metric system.
Maybe that's what it is. Which I don't. I really don't. I know
Look.
it's simpler, but my brain doesn't think in metric.
He probably
there's
likes
two
9mm too.
Look, there's only two kinds of countries in the world: those who use the metric system and those who've been to the moon.
Nice. Although it seems like any billionaire can build a penis-shaped rocket and get into not space, but at least a very thin air, high altitude trajectory.
Look, Jeff Bezos saw Austin Powers and was like, "I want to be Dr. Evil."
Except for he didn't make it into space because he never went
Yet.
into orbit.
Yet.
But they're trying to act like he did this great thing, and it's like, no, you didn't even take the trajectory of an ICBM. I believe those go higher. So,
But he still technically hit his point where they say, yes, at this point you're in space. Not with a lot of it's.
I know.
It's one of those.
I know.
You know,
In the 60s, the Apollo
it's not,
program.
but it is.
The Apollo's standard was orbit or it's not space. It doesn't count. So I get it. It's all semantic. At that point, you can't breathe and you'll freeze. So who cares?
It's the Carmen line.
Okay. I'll trust you. I don't know.
And let's really focus on the fact that his rocket was shaped like a penis.
Right. More importantly,
That's that's the real takeaway of the whole thing.
makes me think of that scene from Austin Powers that, due to my own language restrictions, we can't really get much into. But yes, it is a very phallic shaped rocket, and I'm sure that
I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos knew it.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
he's
how do you
already
look
got
at
the
that thing
Dr.
and
Evil
not?
haircut? So, yeah. All right. Oh, Ghost is out there in the chat. What's up, Ghost? He's saying that he can do a lot of damage with 5.56. That's true, but Ghost, you're also a Marine, and you can do a lot of damage with a case of that Natty Light. So, Marines don't need a rifle to tear stuff up. All we gotta do
All
is
you need is
pan
No one even mentioned ball staff, though. Just pointing that out.
Which
All right.
crayon is Natty Light flavored?
the yellow one.
I was thinking the yellow one too.
Yeah.
That's what they want you to think.
Oh, DJ Play Nice says, what rocket isn't a phallus? Yeah, very good point. I mean, they all
Yeah, but some
all
are more
rather-
so than others.
kind of are, but that one even has like a... It's more shaped that way. Let's not get into too many details because, again, I'll break my own rules. But
It's bulbous in the right places.
It's bulbous in the right places, exactly.
Or the wrong places, however you want to view it.
The
it'd be
leading
super-
edge seemed to have a bigger circumference than the rest of the rocket itself, the shaft, if you will.
I hear it's got a fire suppression system that sprays on the top and trickles down, too.
Oh, God. You got to work out, kid.
Oh, here we go.
He's the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy.
I could not help myself.
Oh,
Lord, I apologize.
all right. Well, be with the starting pick.
And bless the pygmies down in New Guinea.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna call it a night. So
That's probably
real
for the
quick here-
best.
right? Yeah. We're getting into it's going way into the nether regions where we don't need it to go. We can have a gutter
regions, I
chat.
see what you did there.
we can have a gutter chat, but we can't do it while we're live. We have to wait till the after chat when I hit end broadcast.
Yeah.
We're all still hanging out, and it's not going out to the kids. So, so real quick, we're just going to go back in reverse.
I was
and have
purely
everybody,
talking about the fire suppression system.
I know you were.
yeah.
I know you were. It's okay. All
Y'all
right,
need
don't worry about
Jesus.
That's no kidding. I know I do. Okay, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way back up the ladder here. So, Pat, we'll give you a chance to wrap things up. Any final comments? And then where can people find you online?
I just want to say thanks for having me on tonight. And yeah, you can find me at Pat Hirsch on YouTube. I got a couple of videos out anyway. Hope to be doing some more here very shortly on a couple of pistols on the longevity and how many rounds and everything we've had through them, a Smith & Wesson and a Ruger. So if you haven't seen those videos, you can shoot over there and go watch them and get our first impressions on those two. And yeah, just thanks to everybody. I had a really good time. Definitely some good topics tonight. So so thanks again.
Thanks to everybody that submitted some topics. We did have some good stuff, and I think kind of fun, but yet serious, and also a little informative and also entertaining. Infotaining. It was infotainment tonight, guys. That's what we had. So, all right, let's go over here to Dan, regularguyguns.com.
Well, thanks again for having me. It was a blast, and can't wait to do it again. Basically, I always like to drive people to my blog, which is regularguyguns.com. And then on the usual suspects of social media, it's Regular Guy Guns. And usually I try to post on my blog once or twice a week. I'm also doing a podcast, which is a little labor intensive, so that's only once or twice a month. And yeah, if you ever want to reach out, just again, go to the blog, fill out the little contact information form, and I'll be glad to return your inquiries and suggestions and comments.
We'll throw that out in the chat. I never think ahead of time to get everybody's link to their YouTube and whatnot out in the chat. So if anybody who has a blue wrench can get Pat Hirsch's YouTube channel out there, since I can't right now while I'm talking, that'd be great. And again, Dan, thanks for having us. I give everybody the same standing invitation, and it's no shame if you don't say, yeah, this is cool, but I always make this offer. If you want, I'll add you to my distribution list. I shotgun the link out to about it's pared down some. I shotgun it out to about 20 people every week, and some sign in, some don't. It's cool. There's never an obligation, but the link's there if people want it. So if you want to be on the list, and if you can't make it, you just hit delete. Cool. And if you don't want me clogging up your inbox, also cool. So you can let me know. You don't have to say right now, but you can let me know if you want on that list. So thanks for being here. All right, Guns and Barbecue. Final thoughts, and where can people find you?
Well, I really appreciate the invite. It was a good time tonight.
Yeah,
I like being part of discussions like this. As far as finding me, I have the Guns and BBQ YouTube channel. That's my primary thing. Then there's the Instagram and Facebook page. I try and be active on those, but that's really hit and miss. Then I do a live show every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. Called the Almost Nightly Firearms Expo. If anybody's familiar with the daily gun show that G-Webs used to do, just a rip-off of that, really. So we just kind of wing it, and I throw the link out for people to join in and hopefully join the conversation.
Very cool. All right, I did find your link there. Gary's got Pat Hirsch out there. Linked over to that, so there we go. I'll try to get that in the Facebook side. Pat's not on Facebook, so chances are, if you're not seeing that on YouTube, you're probably not going to catch Pat anyway. All right, next up we've got Defense Dad. Final thoughts, and where can people find you? Are you there?
He's muted.
You're muted. I clicked away from the window. I couldn't see it.
Can you hear me now?
Huh?
Okay. So I'll say what I was saying when I was muted. So you can find me on YouTube. I had a fun chat tonight. I have a small Patreon. I have stuff over on Odyssey.
Good choice.
Finally gonna have some more than one day off a week here coming up. So I'm gonna start doing some more videos. I've been kind of lacking a little bit. I've been working 6 days a week for the last 3 weeks, though.
Really? Well, that's cool, though. You are doing a cool job that is important, and people need you to be at work. So glad that you're there. All right. Next up, Travis P11. You do stuff online, don't you? I think you've got a couple of videos out.
Not really. I only got a few reviews here and there. No, I'm kidding. You can check my YouTube channel out, Travis P11. We got a podcast that we do Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. called Caliber Corner, 8 a.m. Central Time, the most important time zone in the world. And we're also going to be giving away a 45 ACP 1911. So go over to my channel, and I've got the video that you can watch that tells you what you need to do to enter to win. And it doesn't require you to subscribe, or doesn't require you to go put a ton of entries in or anything like that. So just watch the video, follow the instructions, and you'll be put in the drawing, which we'll probably have in about a week or two. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Otherwise, yeah, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, guntube.org, Odyssey, and I do tweet, and all that's, they're all Travis P11 everywhere you go. So that's where you can find me whenever you're there. But thanks for the invite, man. I had a lot of fun discussions this evening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Zorro117's in the house. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for joining us there. But we're almost done now, so we don't get to talk to you much. All right. And I think I've got everybody's website or YouTube page out there now in the chat. Last but certainly not least, we've got Tom Knighton. Where can people find you, and any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. I just kind of hate we didn't talk about how to run guns into Cuba today.
Darn it.
Because that would have been awesome. Maybe next time.
I know. Well, we can put that in the hat for next time.
Yeah, let's put that in the hat.
I see.
Yeah,
What could
you can find
possibly
me.
go wrong with running guns into a foreign country? If we do it fast and furious enough, I think it'll work out okay.
It's
Seemed to work for someone else.
We've never done that before. Never.
I know somebody who managed to do it without getting any kind of trouble, so we can
Right.
talk to him, I guess. No, you can find me at bearingarms.com. I do not do YouTube videos because this is a face for writing.
Well, I've got a face for radio, yet here I am, so it's okay. It's all right. I've actually got a few viewers. I say viewers, but viewers who are blind, but still catch us live on the YouTube and Facebook sides. And I think that I think I must have an okay voice. That's what I'm trying to say, because the people that can't use their eyes, obviously their other senses get more attuned, and which means that their hearing is probably better. And if I've got blind dudes listening, then I probably have an okay voice. That's my justification. So even if I have a face for radio, apparently the voice must halfway match. So,
Well, as a blind guy, it's just bearable.
okay, I'll take it. I'll take just bearable enough, and I'm good with that. Real quick here before I forget, as I am looking, where did this go? I lost my link to the Eventbrite link for the diversity shoot. There we are. Is this it? It's going to redirect. Good. Let me copy that. I'm going to throw this in here too one last time. If you want to go to the we don't need all that stuff. We just need that. If you want to go to the diversity shoot and actually check it out, see if firing a gun is something you even want to do a second time, but you've never done it the first time, it's a great place to do it. You will have instructors who are knowledgeable with not only the firearms, but also with first-timers who are maybe a little unsure. It's okay. Don't be scared. I guarantee you this will be a safe place for you. If you're in a community that you think that the gun owners are against you, or that we're all conservatives, or that we're all a whole bunch of, Bible thumping old white guys in flannel shirts with a beard, which some of us are old and some of us do wear flannel and some of us do have beards, but it's a safe place for you to come, and I guarantee you will get blown away by the open arms and how welcomed you will be into the pro gun and pro 2A communities. And you need to come check it out. So the Eventbrite link is going up in Facebook and YouTube chat right there, so that you can check that out for $20. You can reserve a spot where you're going to get some one-on-one instruction from an instructor in a controlled environment where if you don't like it, then there's no pressure, there's no judgment, there's nobody laughing, sneering at you, anything like that. And I don't care I don't care what you look like, where you or your ancestors came from, who you love, who you worship, if you worship, any of that stuff. None of it matters. You are welcome. We want you to come hang out with us. You are invited. Tom, you had your hand up. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I just want to say using the phrase blown away at a shooting event might not be the best choice of words. That you'll be
Good
blown
point.
away.
You will be completely surprised, very pleasantly surprised. You will be, I don't even know a better term than that. Okay. You will not be shot. We have instructors and safety officers who will be in place to make sure that you walk out with the same number of piercings as you walked in with. So no extra hold.
I couldn't help myself. Sorry.
No, you know what? Very good point. It's okay. People need to call me out on this stuff. A couple weeks ago, we had an online town hall meeting. NFOA president, myself, and Tony Simon from The Second Is For Everyone and Diversity Shoot. And as I'm going along, my mouth is on autopilot. My brain is somewhere else. And I said, come on out and go to the Diversity Shoot January 25th, 2001. And Tony starts laughing. He goes, well, then come to the 20th anniversary shoot this year. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you said 2001. I said, well, I meant 2021. But that's what happens. I never claimed that I was smart. I just claimed that I'm smarter than the average bear, which is not a very high bar to clear right now. But no, sometimes my mouth goes, my brain does not. One last time, I want to thank Open Country Firearms for helping us go live tonight on YouTube and Facebook both. Couldn't do it without our show sponsors. Go to opencountryfirearms.com or contact Garrett at 402-841-0970. And if you need it and he doesn't have it, he'll tell you if he can get a hold of it, whether it's firearms, ammo, accessories, or suppressors. You can get all of that through his shop. And I know that he's got to toe the line when it comes to Facebook posts. And I'm only on YouTube and Facebook, so I don't know what other social media he's got and where he's posting stuff. But sometimes he can't always post the stuff that he wants to. And guys, quit asking for prices when you see something like that posted on Facebook. You know they can't tell you. So send him a private message. Or just get a hold of Garrett by phone. That'd be the best. He does try to keep his inventory up to date on the website, but sometimes life happens and he's got another job that takes precedence. So he doesn't always get it up to date. And you know how hard it is right now to come up with firearms. So maybe he gets a new shipment and then he finally updates the website when he's got something to update. So keep in touch with him. Give him your number and let him know what you're looking for, and he'll get back to you when he can. So all right, real quick here before we go, Pat, do you have the list? And while Pat is coming on grabbing his list, I just want to go through and say hello to all of the Facebook people that I saw. We had a couple Facebook users. I think that they haven't given StreamYard permission to show their name on the StreamYard chat here. So I just see Facebook user. I know one of them was Charlie. So, hey, Charlie. I know there were some more that popped in here, and I've scrolled past them now. It's probably just me. Most of it was me. Regular Guy Guns was out there on the Facebook side commenting too, but he's in here. So I think that's it on the Facebook side. Pat, who was out there that we need to say hi to on the YouTube side?
Okay, well, on the YouTube side, if you didn't comment, then yeah, I can't read your name, so here we go. We have G23, Kingpin, Guns and Barbecue, Tacos and French Fries, yes please, Carolina EDC Reviews, Mike, Pat Hirsch, me, in here and out there, Justin Gibbons, Warsaw Patriot, MKJO, a.k.a. I call him Mojo,
McJoe.
Sam of Anarchy 92, Clint Taurus, always a great one, Frankie's Guns and Glitter, DJ Play Nice, M. Gabriel, J. Brown, Patriot in the Dark, Cal, Gizzard Gary, Defense Dad, 2 Live Moon, Blue Steel 44, Ghost Tactical, PNW Woods, Bill Day, Zorro 117, and just coming under the wire, Keith Gregory.
Heck yeah. Very cool. And Warsaw, I saw you out there say that you submitted a question. I didn't see it, so I'm not sure where I missed it, and I didn't mean to slight anybody. If I didn't get your question, make sure that you resubmit it, nesandhillsmedia@gmail.com.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Can I do one plug for someone out there who never plugs himself? Well, word that differently.
Yeah,
So-
go ahead. Since he
so-
won't plug himself, go ahead and plug him for us, would you?
For Kingpin out there, he does such a good job of helping everybody else and promoting everybody else. But he did. If you guys want a video that's going to make you chuckle, watch his video he put out today.
All right. Well, now I need to go find Kingpin. There is. Let's see. Where'd he go? No, I don't want the movie with Woody Harrelson.
That was a great movie.
Right? Shoot, now I can't find the channel. It's not popping up in my search, even though I'm a subscriber. So maybe we need to have Gary. Do you have Kingpin's channel link that you can throw in there real quick? Gary's also awesome. Gizzard Gary throws out so many links. He is so good at helping promote the people in the panel, and he's always the one that reminds me to talk about Patreon, because I don't even remember that I've got Patreon half the time. If you want to help support the channel, there's two things that would be awesome if you would do it. There's Gary got the Kingpin link out there on the YouTube side now in the chat. You can go to patreon.com/sandhillsmedia, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can help us. The money goes to, well, some of it's gone to the rebrand and the logo lately, and I did put some pictures before everybody else saw them. The patrons got to see the new logo designs because they did help pay for that. Some of it goes to equipment, that kind of stuff. But your Patreon money does go back to this endeavor, whether it's the show or the channel or maybe some ammo or something like that. If I'm actually going to go out and do a test video or something to that effect, which hardly happens, but I also hardly ever use Patreon money for ammo. So you can go do that. And for right now, I've got $1, $5, or $10 a month options. You can put in your own number if you want. I don't care if you want to give me $50 a month. I'm fine with it. Otherwise, go to blackswantactical.com. Go find the Sandhills collection, Team Sandhills collection. Patriot in the Dark always says that he's only here for Sandhills Sweetheart, which is ironic because she's never seen or heard on screen or through the speakers. She only does the chat part when she's here, and she's not been feeling well enough to be in here with us for some time. For those of you that don't know, she was diagnosed in January with a different non-Hodgkin's lymphoma than what she had a couple years ago. And they cured it with a stem cell transplant in May, which is why we had a hiatus from the show. But she's still waiting to not only rebuild her immune system, but get her energy back. So she's just not feeling bad always. I mean, there's a few times a day, every now and then, where it's not even nausea. She's just having some problems with she'll just have to throw up, and then she's fine again. That may be an overshare, but the biggest thing is she just doesn't have her energy, and she's really tired of being tired. So we'll get her here. Patriot, I promise we'll get her back here as soon as we possibly can. Not just for you, mostly for me. You guys get to benefit that. So if you want to help her out and just show her love, show her support, you can get the hats that say her fight is my fight or not today cancer. Those are all there on the Team Sandhills collection, blackswantactical.com. You get 10% off your order with the discount code Sandhills. So make sure you plug that in. All right. Yeah, sometimes DJ Play Nice, you're right. Sometimes you see her because she does get up and walk behind me. But aside from that, yeah, she doesn't want the camera on her. She doesn't even want a microphone. And we're not going to peer pressure her into it. She's not wired that way. So if she chooses to, it'll be because she chose to. All right, I think that's it. I think it's all the housekeeping stuff. Again, diversity shoot, July 25th, a couple days from now, this weekend, Sunday, July 25th. It's going 10 to 6. There's going to be some prizes, door prizes, that kind of stuff. You get to meet all kinds of cool people there, including Tony Simon. He's going to be on site as well, doing some presenting of how the Second Amendment is for everyone. Athena Arms, Bellevue, Nebraska, and the Eventbrite link is there in the chat, so you can sign up and actually come out and pull a trigger, or you can just come out and hang out, and it won't cost you anything. We're going to make it a family-friendly event, so don't be afraid to bring the whole family. Don't be afraid to bring whoever you're thinking of bringing. Please don't be afraid to come out yourself. We want to bring some more people into the fold, and even if you don't decide to become a gun owner, if you just learn that we're okay with you and you can be okay with us, it's a win. We'll take it. So we just need you to come hang out. All right, that's going to be it. Thanks everybody on the panel. Thanks everybody making the chat what it is. If your topic didn't get found, or you didn't, I didn't see it earlier and get it printed, or you wanted to put it in the chat and I didn't see it there, email it one more time, nesandhillsmedia@gmail.com. That's going to do it. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. Next week, we will not be doing this. I've got a work thing. 2 more this summer. One of them is next week. So we'll come back in 2 weeks. I'm going to have some fun with this next topic. In 2 weeks, we're going to talk about the difference between misinformation and disinformation. And I'm curious to see how the misinformation thing festers on Facebook and everywhere else in the next 2 weeks. It might be a bigger topic than what it is even today, but we're going to get into it, and some people don't know the difference, so we'll cover that too. 2 weeks from now, same bat time, same bat channel. We will catch you there. Good night, everybody. God bless. Thanks for making this podcast what it is. We couldn't do it without you. But now get off my lawn.